Well, hello on a fine North Dakota day on the side of the highway. US 94 is a-rolling by down there. But today we're getting off the interstate to travel down one of the craziest highways, if not the craziest highway in America. The most unusual, the most different, the most weird, because this highway is littered with handmade metal sculptures, and it starts off with a bang.
Would you look at the size of that sculpture?
What we're looking at here is called Geese in Flight. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, it is the largest metal sculpture on Earth. Just for a sense of scale, look how small my van looks. Over there next to it, it is absolutely dwarfed by the massive size of this sculpture. Geese in Flight is 110 feet tall. That's 220 alleys, making it taller than a 10-story building. And you'll notice I didn't say it was the tallest metal sculpture on Earth. It's 150 feet wide as well. And it was all the brainchild of one man, which we'll get to in a little bit. I knew I was gonna come out here and see this. I knew I was gonna see something huge, but I honestly didn't expect the sheer magnitude of this. Like, my house isn't even as tall as the little foothills below this thing. And if one of those metal geese up there fell down on me, or even my car, it would crush us like a worm. Just for a sense of scale, you'll notice the biggest hills are in the background, and then as you get closer to the parking lot, they start to get smaller. And even the small ones are freaking huge. Now, as you can see from the signboard over here, there were lots of donors and contributors to this project, but it was all the brainchild, all the creation, really, of one guy. A man by the name of Gary Greff, an artist who lived nearby in a very small town called Regent, located far to the south of the interstate, way off the beaten path, who thought, man, there's nothing out here. Regent is such a great town. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was just something that could bring visitors out here to our local area? Something for the tourists to see when they come to North Dakota, something to pull those people off the interstate. And thus, Gary, with the help of a bunch of local farmers who were obviously pretty good at welding, created something spectacular. And I'm not talking about Geese in Flight right here. Geese in Flight is relatively recent. I believe it was created in 2001. And that was after 10 years of erecting other sculptures along what's now called the Enchanted Highway, and that's where we're headed. An entire epic backroads highway of enormous, gigantic sculptures. I'm not sure if they put their best foot forward by putting this out here. I'm not sure that this is the best sculpture, but they definitely put the biggest sculpture first. Just look at the size of that thing. It blows my mind how huge this is and how tiny people look next to just the front layer of it. And remember, those layers are several feet apart. I mean, you could park a school bus between them. And if the whole idea was to bring people to Gary's little small town, why put the biggest sculpture at the farthest end of the highway from it? Ah, my friends, for the simple reason that this sculpture is located right off Interstate 94. This is just a teaser to get us to pull off the interstate and go down the Enchanted Highway. And it worked, my friends. It worked. Let's hop in the van and get going down these bug-splattery highways through the farms and fields and get weird. Dude, if Geese in Flight is sort of supposed to act like a billboard, it definitely does its job. That is one advertisement you cannot miss. And even that whole long driveway to get up to it had dozens, maybe hundreds of handmade metal geese leading to it. Crazy. All right, we're heading away from the interstate now, passing through the absolutely gorgeous North Dakota countryside out here. Who knew it was so scenic and gorgeous? It looks so flat and boring from the interstate. But I believe we're going to find that the Enchanted Highway is anything but boring, okay? They're obviously pretty hard to miss, but I can see our next sculpture on the horizon. Whoa. Dude, incredible. This one, as you might expect, is called Deer Crossing. The buck is 75 feet tall. The doe is 50 feet tall. That's a 5- and 7-story building. And they were made out of used oil well tanks, apparently, which were flattened out with a bulldozer and then set up here with cranes in 2002, the year after Geese in Flight that we saw earlier Dude, these things are absolutely mammoth. I'm gonna run out of words to describe how big they really are. They're not just an amusing thing to look at, they're kind of a timely warning because there are a lot of deer along this highway. As a matter of fact, when I was pulling in here, I saw a deer crossing the road off in the distance. And speaking of distance, even though we came a ways down this little highway, I can actually see geese in flight way off in the distance behind this thing. That's how big that sucker is. But these things aren't exactly dainty either. You really get a sense of how huge they are when you see people walking up close to them, as they periodically do when they're stopping by out here. Oh dear, I can see I'm gonna have a hard time not just saying, would you look at the size of, etc., every time we stop. But I mean, just look at how big the legs are. Just the legs alone. Ooh, that's some sharp metal. We are out on the prairie here, so I'll tell you guys, you gotta be careful of bees and ants and all kinds of little flying things. And most importantly, snakes. Keep an eye out for snakes and an ear out, especially while checking out Deer Crossing's newest feature added in 2008, the Maze of Enchantment, built for your enjoyment. Look at this, even the sign is metal. Everything's metal out here. Man, I thought these were simple old rusty fences. Look at it, each one is a sculpture, each panel here. And as long as there's no rattlesnakes out here, this looks awesome for kids and adults alike to come get lost on the prairie. Oh, dude, I freaked myself out because I just realized if there was a rattlesnake out here, he can get under all the fences, and I can't. I'd have a hard time getting away. Man, I can't believe it. Each one of these things has a crazy pattern cut into it. I wonder where all this metal came from. I love artists like this who can take old oil tanks or just scrap metal and create something that's fun for the whole family. Something that can bring the visitors in from miles around. I mean, I'm all the way out here from Southern California. I live next to Disneyland and it worked on me. Don't get me wrong, Disneyland is a heck of an enchanted place all in its own right. These are the kind of things that make me hug parents when they tell me that they took their kids on a road trip. Because as specialist theme parks and attractions like that are, these are the kinds of places that you'll remember for a lifetime. Woo, I made it out. I'm as amazed as you are. I love that each one of these so far has a big parking lot and a little picnic area to get out of the sun. Although I feel bad using it, these birds are confused. Why are you in our space? Look at these birds. And look at that prairie. The only thing that could make this more scenic and perfect would be to see a buffalo out here. Or Kevin Costner, either or. See, who needs to go hunting? I just shot the biggest deer there is with my camera. Time to head down the Enchanted Highway and see what else there is to see. Oh my gosh, this is one of the most absolutely gorgeous drives I have ever taken. This is like one of America's best kept secrets, the Enchanted Highway. Rolling hills, beautiful scenery, and even this unexpected little tiny town, LaFour or Leaford, not sure how to pronounce it, but the sign said Queen of the Prairies, established 1898, so it's been here for a while. This is all like something out of an old Disney movie. I love these beautiful little half-forgotten 19th century farming towns. And here we have a little piece of Great Depression history, because apparently this is all that's left of LaFour State Bank. The old bank, like many in America's heartland, went under in the 1930s during the Depression, and unlike the rest of the building, apparently the vault was too tough to destroy. Look at that, there's the old bank vault door. This is crazy. I could see some birds' nests in here. Probably some mouse poop. Probably don't want to lick the floor or anything, but I do love lapping up that obscure history. Look at this little town. They've got this one tiny little business, and look, on June 10th, they're gonna have steak and burgers. I prefer to think of these little towns like I would think of an old Disney movie, rather than an old horror movie. And it makes them cute and not scary. Look at these. Such a small town that even the streets aren't paved. And yet, look at the end of this main road. There's an absolutely gorgeous little Catholic church. Crazy. I bet everybody knows everybody in this town. But sadly, nobody knows me. Lonely. All right, time to head back out on that Enchanted Highway. And I believe we don't have very far to go, because just outside of town, I can already see our next enchanted sculpture. Ooh, da lolly. Jiminy crickets, you guys. The grasshoppers in North Dakota are enormous. This one's called Grasshoppers in the Field, and it's not just the hoppers that are big. Look at the size of the grass in this field. It's a lawnmower's worst nightmare. Dude, even the little baby grasshoppers are huge. If it was just a highway full of sculptures this size, I'd be impressed. But look at the absolutely epic proportions of the big one. 40 feet high, 60 feet long. And I bet this grasshopper could go through a lot of wheat. I don't think the farmer's gonna like this, Yogi. Thinking of this giant grasshopper makes me remember remember those Little House on the Prairie books where they had the grasshopper plague and billions of grasshoppers were everywhere and ruined Pa's wheat field? Speaking of wheat, those giant wheat stalks back there were apparently created intentionally thin enough so that they would sway and bend in the breeze. There's only a very gentle breeze out here right now, but you can kind of see them swaying and moving around with the wind. Well, it only takes so long before a piece of metal will actually break. And you can see here some of the wheat stalks are laying down. That's because the grasshoppers have been eating them. This place is absolutely incredible. I never knew grasshoppers were so much fun. Speaking of which, there are billions of little tiny grasshoppers in this field. And this is cute. They've got a little bit of playground equipment out here for the kids. Although be careful, it is a little rough and ready. Look at me, Ma. I'm king of the world. I'm having so much fun. Whoa. Hippity hoppity hop. Whoa. We're hopping and hipping and hopping and we don't stop. Baby, till the beat does the boogity beat. Wow! Now remember, Gary Greff created all of this to bring people down this little highway and into his region to inspire tourists to visit his little town. But as with all creative things, it couldn't have happened without donations, both to build the huge, giant sculptures and, of course, to maintain them. Look, you can leave your little donation out here like I did. And this is probably a good time to mention that this show also depends on the people who enjoy the creative content. So maybe join our Patreon, become a member. Check out the links below, randomland.com. Okay, I'll stop. 10 years I've been filming this show, and there are very few days I've enjoyed as much as today, even just so far. The absolutely wide open spaces, the periods of time where you don't see another human soul, the beautiful weather, the incredibly creative sculptures, beautiful old barns and rustic old trucks on the side of the highway, the giant, terrifying, man-eating grasshoppers. Hoppy, no! This is just amazing. Look at all the layers in there to make this thing happen. Building something like this takes a lot of ingenuity, man, and it's making some pretty creepy sounds in the wind. Big, creepy, creaky metal noises. Awesome, man. Truly incredible. We're not done by a long shot, though, so we'd better get back in the van and keep heading down that Enchanted Highway, because the distances are greater than you'd think. We just came 12 miles from Deer Crossing, and it's 5 more miles to Fisherman's Dream, our next sculpture along the Enchanted Highway. Oh my gosh, they get crazier and more extreme with every stop. Every time I think we've seen the craziest thing we're gonna see, Gary Greff throws us for a loop. The Fisherman's Dream really is like something out of a dream. I have never, ever, and North Dakota's now my 49th state, not to mention other countries, seen anything like this in my whole life. We're here wandering around this immersive lake bottom amongst all these crazy three-dimensional metal fish. Look at the water line up there. That boat is 70 feet up in the air. These fish are up higher than those grain silos back there. This is absolutely insane. As you can see, we're underneath the water here with all of the seaweed. Or if it's fresh water, is it still seaweed or is it just aqua plants? Look at this kooky catfish.
Hey, don't call me kooky. I'm beautiful.
You are beautiful. Even the little baby aqua plants over there by the van are way taller than it. Okay, this is some true artistry. Look at these fish. They're like something out of Mr. Limpet or SpongeBob. So much character and personality in their weird little faces.
Hey, we're not weird. You're weird. You're the one that's weird.
Jeffrey, did he just call us weird?
I think he did. I think he did call us weird.
I don't want to be called. I'm not weird. Am I weird?
You're not weird. You're not weird at all. You're normal. You're normal like me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I was normal. I thought I was normal.
I love this so freaking much. I want to frolic through the lake bed, and I will in a minute. But first, I've got to check out this shipwreck on the prairie. The first shipwrecked boat I've seen out here. These aren't just silhouettes, man. They are 3D sculptures in the truest sense. And the form, the color, the creativity, these are truly masterpieces, works of art. And you better be so careful what you fall onto. But you can climb aboard the shipwreck if you so desire. Just gotta be careful because the stairs are not exactly straight as you climb up. Ooh, and neither is the ship. Boy. Yeah, I love fun, but I only recommend this with caution. I've almost cut my hand open up here. Pretty slippery. This is so cool. This would be so fun to climb on if you're a kid. It's fun for me to climb on, and I'm hardly a kid. But you know what I am, though? I'm the king of the world! Come on, man. You have to do that. For Kate Winslet. Look where I stack up to this tail right here. And then look at just how high up this fish goes. If that fisherman's at 70 feet, this has got to be at least an 8-story building's worth of fish. Look at this. Look at this little picnic shelter here with the waves beneath it, the little water thing. If I just saw this on the side of the road, I'd pull over. It actually reminds me I'm getting pretty hungry. That's what all this frolicking on the prairie under the sea will do to you. Speaking of which, down here all the fish is happy, as off through the waves they roll. The fish on the land ain't happy. Actually, the fish on this land look pretty happy to me. You know what's so special about this is there aren't many places in America where you could come to someplace this wide open, even forgetting all the enchanted fish for a second, and experience the prairie like this in 360 degrees, not just the farmer's fields, but the natural stuff. I've seen pronghorns out here, I've seen deer, and you could really just relax and either take in the weird enchanted highway scenery or the natural beauty that at first glance just looks like the world's biggest golf course, but it really comes alive once you get out here. There are so many birds' nests on these fish. And there's so many little beautiful creeks. You hear the wind sighing through the grass. Perfect spot for a picnic. Luckily, I always keep a supply of foodage in the van. This is gorgeous. A little bit of turkey and string cheese and some chips. A little soda pop right here in the shade on the prairie. All right, we don't want to linger for too long. There are still some more epic sculptures ahead, and the next one is at least 4 miles away, so it's time to hit that Enchanted Highway. You know, Gary Greff has been working on the Enchanted Highway since at least 1991. And apparently he's getting up there in years now, but people often spot him out here touching things up or working at the gift shop, which I'm hoping is open today. But even without souvenirs, man, I now have memories that will last me the rest of my life. Wow, look at this one. Pheasants on the prairie. Look at the size of these big metal birds. These are so cool, coming up on giant pheasants in the middle of nowhere. And I love these ones because of the little facial expressions they have. Look at those pleasant pheasants. Man, what a scenic spot. A beautiful setting for this one. No matter what angle you view it from, it is gorgeous. There's a gorgeous backdrop in every direction, especially looking this way towards all these hills and little buttes out here. And once again, look how tiny the van is in comparison to these huge, gargantuan birds. I actually don't know how tall these birds are, but just look at them. They're huge. You don't need to know the exact number. But all I can think of standing out here before their mightiness is that if space aliens came down here in 1,000 years after all the humans were wiped out, or future archaeologists discovered these, would they think that we were worshiping them? Would they think they were our gods? Almighty bird, protect us on our journey! I'm just kidding around. I wouldn't want a bird god. Birds are creepy. They're cute, they make sweet songs, they're pretty oftentimes, and they have those innocent, sweet little faces, but remember, they're dinosaurs. They'll peck your head. Ow, jeez. Never trust a bird. Speaking of birds, I just saw my first ever prairie chicken on the side of the road on the way here. Did you know we have native, natural chickens in America? Pretty sure they're kind of endangered now. Man, I wish I had gotten a picture of it. Wait a minute, look! There's one of the prairie chickens now! I could just see it peeking out of the tall grass. Wait a minute. Julio? How's it going? What crack about birds? Oh, Julio, I meant you can't trust these birds. You know I trust you. I keep forgetting to mention there is actually an app for this trail. You can see all the information there, but although this place is pleasant, I think it's time we leave these pheasants, because I keep spending way too long at each stop, and I want to get to the end of the trail before nightfall for sure. I guess we better start picking up the pace. Luckily, our next stop is a little simpler, and it's only 2 miles down the road, so hopefully we'll be able to pick things up. Gosh, what a gorgeous drive this is today. Prairie's so beautiful, you just want to hop on a horse and ride across the land, which is exactly what Teddy Roosevelt is doing. Look at this one. It's called Teddy Rides Again. Teddy Roosevelt, of course, famously lived in North Dakota. He had a ranch up here. He loved it, and there's now a Theodore Roosevelt National Park not too far away. That's a pretty cool metal tribute to the old Rough Rider, and it is awesome, but what interests me a lot more than this is what's sitting right in front of him, because this is a lot different from everything else we've seen today. This little stagecoach is made of wood! Sorry, TR, we gotta check this out. Look at this. Wouldn't you like to climb up inside of a stagecoach? You wouldn't if you knew you were gonna be stepping on birds' nests. Aw. It's really neat sitting inside of here and staring out at Teddy Roosevelt. It's the perfect frame. These poor lost birds' nests and the little broken eggs make this a sad stagecoach. Ha! Driver, stop! This is a sad stagecoach!
Quit your belly aching or we ain't never getting to Virginia City.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough fun here. We really have to pick up the pace now. Because, spoiler alert, there's something awesome at the end of this trail. Time to be moving along. You could probably drive this whole road and snap quick pics in like, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you were taking your sweet time. I have spent 5 hours on this road so far, so we really gotta hurry. Luckily, the next stop's only 2 miles away. Oh my gosh, who wouldn't love this? It's a whole tin family. And dude, I'm just saying.
Would you look at the size of that farmer?
Man, where do you find a grocery store big enough to feed this family? Look at the farmer's wife over here. You can see the shadows are starting to get long. That's what I mean about having to move along a little quicker. It's weird because I think the longer that you travel down the Enchanted Highway, the more the shock and awe of just how huge these things are wears off. Look at this family. Look at those cars back there in the background. These people are not small. They breed them big in North Dakota. It's so weird to even be saying North Dakota. This is my 49th state. I have 1 state left to go, Alaska. This was the last state I needed in the lower 48. And if you didn't see it, I did a whole sometimes vlog on the second channel from when I crossed over the line. It was a heck of a moment, a heck of a weird brain-busting moment for me. I never thought I'd get to 49 states. I completed the lower 48. And everybody's like, North Dakota? You don't want to go to North Dakota. North Dakota's just flat and boring. Well, it doesn't look so boring to me. Some people just don't understand the enchantment. You know, I believe this. The Tin Farm family was the first sculpture built by Gary Greff back in 1989 to 91 when it was installed here. So this is sort of a special piece of the Enchanted Highway. I'm sure people thought he was nuts, but he was inspired by the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And you know what? He was right. All right, we finally made it 2 miles down the road to Regent, the end of the trail, kind of. This town's not very big, but what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in cuteness. Look at this place. Look at, they got the little museum here called Frontierland. Too bad it's closed at the moment, not that we have time. Look at all these sick metal buffalo along the sidewalk, and of course, the whirligigs. Let's see what this is all about. Oh my gosh, that is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. You have to hold down the button to make it work. But the epic clang and clatter of the whirligigs is my new favorite thing. Oh my gosh, Gary Greff is a genius. And look at this, there's even a fun pick opportunity out here. And of course, you exit through the gift shop. I made it. The open sign is lit. Man, this is great. Look at all this stuff in here. Ooh, you can buy your own metal sculptures. Oh, I need one of these. So you're Gary. Yeah. You built all the sculptures out of imagination. I heard you were inspired by Field of Dreams. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, you did it. You brought me here.
Well, I brought a few people here.
You brought me to Regent. I love it.
I did.
This is my favorite thing in America.
Yeah, well, thank you.
How did you learn how to do this, if you don't mind my asking?
Basically started from a farmer. Told me how to. I never laid a bead of weld in my life, never had an art class.
Really?
Just said, let's go for it.
Well, you're a heck of an artist.
I just started welding, and they showed me how to weld, and I just kept welding.
So it's one of those things where there's nothing to it but to do it.
Well, just do it. You're right. You got to do it.
Okay, I can't believe this. Gary cuts these out, too. You can get your own Greff. Oh, these are awesome. Dude, do you know how freaking stoked I am to come in here and meet the creator of all of this? I've been in here for a long time now, having a good conversation with Gary. Gary rules. I like the polka music. It sets the atmosphere.
Well, that's when we go.
Oh, jeez. He's etching the metal sculptures that I bought. We're getting a Gary Greff original. It's the highlight of my day, Gary. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Dude, that just made my day. You have no idea how excited I am to get a couple of Greffs. But here's the best part. Not only are we about to see Gary's newest unfinished sculpture, but you may have seen the signs all up and down the highway today for the Enchanted Castle. That's the hotel that Gary runs 2 blocks up the street. And once he's done dishing up some ice cream to the locals inside, oh yes, that's right, he also serves up ice cream in the daytime. He's gonna walk me down the street and check me in. Now, just like at Disneyland, all the way down at the end of Main Street, USA, USA. Thanks to Gary, Regent has got a castle. The Enchanted Castle, hotel, tavern, and dining. Look at this epic castle facade. There's a drawbridge, a castle moat made out of colorful rocks, and best of all, this castle has got a dragon.
Would you look at the size of that beast?
He's a little bit rough and ready. You can still see the original colors of his component parts, but Gary is building this huge dragon and this huge knight to fight in perpetuity outside of his enchanted castle on the Enchanted Highway. Dude, look at this old Air Force truck that they get to use to work on this stuff. I can't even imagine how hard it is to create something like this. Imagine dragons! That's what he did. The inside of this place is insane. Prepare to have your mind blown. Because what's actually going on is we're on the property of Regent's old schoolhouses at the end of Main Street. Look inside of there. That's the old schoolhouse. And Regent at one point went from a one-room schoolhouse to an epic 1909 brick schoolhouse that first was a high school and then became the elementary school when they added on and built a more modern post-war mid-century high school, which has now become the Enchanted Castle Hotel. Dude, if I hadn't seen this place for myself, I would never believe it was real. I've never been more excited to go to my room and go to sleep in my life. Oh, here comes Gary. Let's go check in and check it out. Did you go to high school here?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. When I left high school, I didn't want to spend any more time there.
I didn't either. I didn't plan on spending any time here.
Okay, Gary ran off to see which rooms are clean. This is a very small operation here. I think I might be the only guest tonight. But look what he's done here. He's taken his old high school and turned it into a hotel because he wanted to bring the tourists here and there was nowhere for them to stay. So, in true Gary Greff style, he just did it himself.
And you go to a bank and the bank says, we're not going to sponsor a hotel in a town of 100 people.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, shoot. So it sort of was one of those things. We got the bid on the hotel, and that's how it all started.
That is so cool. This is, I am not kidding you, it's the coolest hotel I have ever stayed at. Wait till you see this room. Prepare to have your mind blown. Look at the size of this place. It is absolutely enormous and kind of echoey in here. Fridge, microwave, little bar over here, TV, and then another TV, and check out the royal beds. You know, for the middle of North Dakota in an old converted high school, I don't know what else you could ask for. Look, it's so fancy. There's a little seal on the pillows. And look at that custom embroidered foot thingy. You can see the other wing of the high school in the town, a water tower, and a nice friendly moth in here. I don't know if they just used a full classroom for each hotel room or what. This is incredible. And wait till you see the other amenities. Gary literally left me in this hotel all alone. I'm the only one here yet. There'll be some other people tonight, which is good, or this would get creepy really fast. And actually, even still in daylight, being alone in here is it's a little weird. Check this out off the hallway. Maybe in the old principal's office. They've got the breakfast room with fresh coffee in here. Look at the size of this. There's snacks and accoutrement. Crazy. Back down this horribly, terrifyingly creepy hallway of doom is the Tavern and Excalibur Steakhouse. All I can think of right now is Stranger Things, and there's a suit of armor there silhouetted in the darkness. That is freaking terrifying. You're seeing it much brighter on your screen than I see it in real life. That is scary. Anyway, on a happier note, Gary told me if I felt like using the gym, I could help myself. What I didn't know is that he meant an actual gym. Shut the front door. I've never done this on Random Land before. Whoa! Oh, it's what in the entire heck, my friends? If the full-on high school gymnasium isn't enough entertainment for you, look at this down at the end. They've got a hot tub room. Trying to find the light. What? Oh, how weird is this? So strange. He said I could use it. I'd feel weird taking the cover off, though. And look at this. They got a second hot tub in progress also. What kind of school was this? Oh, man, on the other end of the gym, there's the locker room and the fitness center. Super terrifying in here until you find the lights. Oh, there's literally a locker room in here. Here's the showers in the locker room. Weird. This honestly could have and should have been a whole separate adventure in and of itself. And if I ever come back to town, It will be okay. That's a very scary dead end. Supposedly there's stuff on the second level here. Let's see. How did they do this? Each door I pass through, things just get a little spookier. But look at this. Look at the gym equipment. A gym in a gym. And there's the old home and visitor sign. I know Gary has a whole board of people from the town, I assume. So this isn't all just his efforts. Oh, that's a very scary closet. Let's close that. But he's my new hero. For real. Okay, we gotta get out of here. I'm scared someone's gonna turn the lights off downstairs. I'm also scared there might be students up there who have never left. That would be terrifying, but let's face it, most students don't want to spend any more time in their high school than they need to. All right, I'm gonna head outside, unload my van, get ready to settle in for the night, and leave the gymnasium to the ghosts for now. So freaking weird. I've never been trusted with this kind of responsibility before. A whole high school all to myself. Normally, I hate high school. This is the swankiest high school in the land. I've never pulled my luggage cart across a drawbridge before. Weird. Julio, how are you always so cool? You always take everything in stride. And I'm not kidding you guys. Gary is like my new hero now. Forever. He just took me out into the hallway to show me around the castle a little bit more. To show me the steakhouse and the tavern. And check out what that looked like. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, this is way crazier than I was expecting.
Laid every rock in this place.
I can't believe it. It's so cool. This tavern is epic.
Did the chandeliers.
Oh yeah, so you did that?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So this was the auditorium stage and the cafeteria.
And I'll show you the
wow. Look at all of this. Wait, there's more. Okay, so this is just the tavern here. This is the steakhouse?
Yep.
How often is it open?
Every Friday and Saturday. We have 4 water walls.
No way. I'm guessing you like it a lot better here now than you did when you were a student.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I never wanted to come back.
This was the science room and that was the home ec room?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. This looks more fun than home ec. We spent a long time talking about how he ended up as a teacher for 18 years, and when he came back here, he saw his town was dying. He had to do something, and that's how the Enchanted Highway got started. Thank you for showing me around the castle. That is so cool.
No problem.
Of course, you have an Enchanted Highway. That brings people through your town, but it doesn't bring people to your town, so the Enchanted Castle Hotel. And he's not finished with his ideas yet, because out the back window, they've got acres of land that Gary has big plans for. I know North Dakota doesn't get as many visitors as California or Florida, but if you're planning a road trip next summer, dang it, the Enchanted Highway and the Enchanted Castle are worth your time. When you come out here and Gary's checking you in, make sure to tell him that Justin sent you. It's not scary at all in here. Well, except for the suits of armor. Weird. As you can see, night has fallen upon the kingdom. And finally, we're at the end of our day here at the Enchanted Castle. The freaking craziest place I've ever stayed, at the end of the freaking craziest highway in North America. At least the craziest one I've seen yet. All right, gang, it's been a long day. It's been a long trip. Southern California to North Dakota, my 49th state. All I need now is Alaska. Getting to all those states wasn't easy, and it couldn't have happened without friends like you. So please, if you like this video, share it with someone you think would like it. And you don't even have to travel far to do this next favor. Just check out randomland.com or check out the links below. Now that all that's done, there's only one thing left to do. Have a hot tub party with your best bird buddy, and then motel and sleep well. They're talking about you. It says fowls. What? What's wrong with that joke? Here's a little ghost story for you. So I was in there, in the hot tub thing, and I could see out here, and I could see the lights turned off, the big gym lights. I thought, oh my gosh, what the heck, is it on a timer? Because I could see this door. I didn't see anybody over here. And I got out, and I'm like, hello? Hello? Nobody came, nobody turned the lights back on. So I had to dry myself off. I came all the way out over here. I come walking over here to see if it's like a timer or what. And the light switch was turned off, like physically turned off. So I came out in the hallway, nobody. Nobody's here but me. And that was off like this. Not just like a timer. There's no timer. And there's nobody here. That is terrifying. I'm the king of the world! What? I had to. It's like a law. The Cameron law. Look at me, Ma! I'm king of the world! Yeah. I wonder if James Cameron knew that would happen all over the world, everywhere, forever. Dude, talk about catfishing. I can't believe it. Look, Mom and Dad, I did it! Don't want to trip on this. Whoop. Are you okay?